We are live. Let's see who decides to join us this evening. About to have to make a cup of coffee. Already 18:13. Hooty hoo. Oh man. Nope. All right. We need to stop the live stream right here, guys. Hooty hoo. Just join the live stream. Trust me, over here, hooty hoo, we are not worthy. I promise you. So we probably just need to call it a night right there. If he's dropping a comment. No, I'm just kidding. What's going on, Zach? To be honest with you, that's very flattering. Okay, if you have notifications on for when I go live, that's extremely flattering. So I appreciate that. I would say you are one of the inspiration, one of the inspirational channels. What are we talking about? Well, I mean, nothing really on the docket. Well, I guess nothing on the docket. So I do have to blame you for something, Hootie Hoo. This is your fault. Okay. I believe you posted an email or something that you had gotten from, I think it's D&T Optics, talking about their price increases. And so, yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. So I blame you. You were to blame. That's what we're talking about, is how can we blame you for stuff so we don't end up getting beat up by our wives. Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate you posting that, so that way I could snag one. I've been looking at those for a long time. When they first came out, and Arkin was pushing them. I looked at them. I really, really wanted one. Here in Alabama, they finally started to allow night hunting. I think it was last year, I believe, last season. Not this past season, but the season before, I think was the first year they allowed night hunting of coyotes and hogs on private land or leased land. So once that happened, because prior to that, you could, I mean, I think there was ways you could, but you had to have, I don't know if it was like permits or whatever, that type of stuff. But now it's legal, and yeah, the Zulus, I'd been looking at it for quite a while. And then of course the videos that Tiborosaurus Rex did on it and all of that, he did a comparison, a really good side-by-side comparison with like a multi-$1,000 unit, and showed just how good the Zulus is compared to that. And so, yeah, it kind of sold me on it. And then you make a post about it, and it's like, well, got to get one. So, and I've got a little bit of experience with like the ATN. I've worked a couple of projects with those. Some of my buddies, they've picked up like the ATN Excite 4K or something like that. Let's see. More 280 Ackley videos coming. Yes, Ron, 100%. Oh, what's going on, Bobby? Got any new new loading projects? Yes, I do. I actually have one sitting right here on the kitchen island, but I'm not allowed to touch it during a live stream, so I can't show you. But what I will say is this cartridge turns 100 years old this year, so I will say that. Actually, just picked it up today. But yeah, the 280 Ackley stuff. So I actually just finished filming a video about a really cool Lee bullet seating die micrometer adjustment. Not the one Lee makes, but I found a guy in Georgia called, you guys need to go check him out, West Georgia Reloading. Okay, go check out West Georgia Reloading on Etsy. The guy makes 3D printed bullet seating, micrometer bullet seating accessories for Lee dies specifically. So go check those out. I ordered 8 of them. I've got a couple of 4-packs that just came in. I just finished a video talking about that and showing, how to use them. Really cool. 20 bucks for a 4-pack. I mean, yeah, it's dirt cheap, and they work really well. So I need some 280 Ackley loading tips. Just got dies for it. Okay, well then you need, I can send you, I mean, I think I've got 9 videos in my 280 Ackley playlist right now. Some of the best results that I've had so far are with the Nosler 140 grain ballistic tip and using powders similar to Reloader 19. So either Reloader 19, or if you go to AmericanReloading.com and you're able to pick up Midwest Powders MP 620. It's not necessarily a clone of Reloader 19, but it's kind of close. Those 2 powders with that bullet have shot the tightest groups out of the gun that I have. It's just, it hammers. So yeah, the 140s have shot really well. The 175 grain Federal tipped Fusion has shot really well. The McGuire Ballistics 160 grain copper rose bullet, that has shot very well. So yeah, it's been pretty much all good so far. Right now, I think I've got 180 rounds down the barrel on the, I actually had a Tikka T3X rebarreled to 280 Ackley. So Ron, 270 Winchester, 100%. That's it. Just picked up another 270 Winchester. So I had to have one. I think that's my favorite cartridge of all time. So I couldn't not have one. So, hey, what's going on, Wesley? Good. I'm glad you're enjoying them. I'm enjoying the work that you're doing for me. So, yeah, we got something pretty cool coming down the line. So, Bobby, planning on getting a 6.5 by 55 suite. Yeah, I've been looking at those. Those are pretty sweet. If you get the Tikka with like the wood stock, that's really nice. I like that one a lot. Ron, Unknown Munitions in Post Falls, Idaho is loading the 270 Winchester with 165 grain Nosler Accubine long range, going 29-25. Nice. That's heavy too. What's going on, Scotsman? Yeah, so in 270, the heaviest that I've ever loaded or messed around with is 180 grain Woodley weld core. And the only reason that bullet weight worked in 270, because that's stupid heavy for a 270 Winchester, is I was shooting it in a Steyr Pro Hunter, and that rifle from the factory has a 1 in 8 twist. It's like 1 in 8 or 1 in 8.5 inch twist from the factory. So it's a faster twist 270 Winchester. So if you guys are into that kind of thing and you don't want to have to go buy a barrel, if you're just looking for a gun in general, and you don't want to have to pay like the gunsmithing work and all that, if you can find a used Steyr Pro Hunter in 270 Winchester, it comes with a fast twist barrel. So if that's your thing. Ron, I think they're using N570. N570 seems pretty slow. El Chupa Goats, what's going on, man? Really enjoying your videos, by the way. You can get 2820 with N570 using that Woodley. Holy moly. That's way faster than what I got back when I was doing my testing. I think I was using, it might have been H4831. I'm trying to think back now. I had one box of 50, and it was more of just like a proof of concept kind of thing. Hey, is it going to work, right? What kind of results can I expect out of the 270 with 180 grain bullet? So, but I was shooting MOA, right at, inch groups at 100. So that'll kill all day. It's just my velocities were really slow. I think it was at like 2,400. So yeah, if you get 2,800 feet per second with that Woodley, man, that's a combo. A lot of energy. So yeah, if you guys didn't see, if you weren't in on this at the very beginning, check it out. So this is all thanks to Hootie Hoo. We can all blame him. Picked up one of those. Now it's a DNT optics, not Arkin. Whatever they got going on there. But so yeah, picked up a Zulus. Ron, Reloading Weatherby is doing videos on that 165. Nice. Yeah, I mean, the AccuBonds, that's a great bullet. Great option for hunting. A lot of emojis from Sebastian there. So yeah, nothing too crazy. I did just get a scope put on the new project, right? That I just picked up today. Looking forward to that. This rifle is, from what I can tell and from what I'm able to find on the serial number and stuff, it's older than I am. So that'll be fun. I haven't bore scoped it or anything like that yet, but I've got to get that done, check it out. And then of course I got to clean it up. And I was just sort of going through everything, making sure it's squared away. What's going on, John? John Thomas. So, but I think if you guys watch some of the videos that I'll post about it coming up in the near future, I think you'll enjoy the combination that I put together, because it's a Remington 700. It's an ADL. Again, older than me, from what I gather, from the information I can track down. And I put a Weaver, I think it's a 2-10, like I think it's called a Microplex or something, whatever it is, Micro Track or whatever. It's a Weaver scope that was actually made in Japan. This is an older Weaver scope that was made in Japan. Really, really nice optic. So picked it up off eBay. Put that on there. It's a pretty good looking combination. The only thing I don't like about it right now is I have Monstrum tactical scope rings sitting on it. So I'd kind of like to replace those with something else. But hopefully everybody's doing pretty good this evening. Oh, I got another cool little thing. I got to do a video on this thing too. The Harvey deprimer. This is nothing new. This is a hand depriming tool. I looked them up on YouTube. I had never heard of it. And shout out to my buddy over at AG Composites. He sent me a text and was like, hey, somebody just dropped this thing off at the shop if you want to check it out. So I swung by, picked it up. And apparently there's a company in Oregon that's been making these for quite some time. And, it's a little hand deprimer, so should be pretty cool. Actually, I think the oldest video I could find on YouTube that talked about it was like 12 years old. So again, it's not a new product by any stretch of the imagination. Bobby says to check out Rudolph Optics. They're not Chinese. That's good. A lot of optics are. So Japan glass and South Africa. Oh, okay. Got you. South African with Japanese glass. So go check those guys out. I'm really looking forward to this Zulus, getting this thing fired up. It's not an issue, but I got to figure out what to put this on, right? What's going on, Vanessa? And really, I mean, the main reason why I got it, again, now that we're allowed to hunt like coyotes and hogs and stuff at night on private land in Alabama, that was the main thing. Plus, when I go back to Texas, because for some of you that don't know, or if y'all don't know, I went to Texas back in, I think it was June of last year, June or July, and killed a couple hogs. I've got a buddy that has some property out there, and drove out, killed a couple hogs. But I was hunting them, killed those in the morning, early morning. And so now, hopefully I'll have a pretty decent option for going over there hunting at night. But yeah, more 280 Ackley stuff coming, so you guys just buckle up for that. I plan on just shooting the barrel out of that thing. 180 rounds down it right now. I've got to get to the range because I've got 60 more rounds loaded up, so I'll get that stuff shot. And then from there, I'll be switching over to, once I get these 60 shot, I will switch over to the solid copper stuff. That's the plan. John Thomas, you got the Taurus 942, 22 long rifle on order, just for plinking. Cool. Yeah, no, so I've actually been looking at 22 you know, some 22 Winchester Magnum. That's what I've been looking at here lately. Just I've had a, what was it, the something tracker. I can't remember what it was now, but it's like a really cheap bolt action little 22 mag rifle, Citadel. I think it's Citadel tracker. I picked up one of those a few years back, did some videos on it, and I mean, it's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheaply made, just overall construction, but it was still a fun gun to have. So I really, really want to get another little 22 mag. I think those are just a lot of fun to shoot, as long, you know, as well as, you know, 22 long rifle. So I've already got a Ruger 1022. Ron Quick Load says you can also get over 2,800 feet per second with that Woodley Weld Core bullet and Reloader 33. Oh wow, I've actually got a little bit of Reloader 33 left. Rocky Mountain Ballistics, what solids are you going to use? So I plan on shooting the ones I'm most looking forward to are the Meguiar Ballistics. That's right now, that's my favorite solid copper bullet that I shoot. No affiliation with them, but I've killed several animals with them, and those things hammer. You know, speaking of hammer, so hammer bullets would also be a good option, but I don't have any of those. Don't plan on ordering any of those. But Meguiar Ballistics, that's number one on my list, and then I will be shooting some Barnes. On the Barnes side of the house, I will shoot the 160 grain TSX, the 168 grain, I think it's LRX maybe, that they came out with, and the 175 grain TSX. Those are the three Barnes options that I'm going to shoot. And then of course you throw the Meguiars in there as well. John Thomas said, nice. 18 wheels. Hey, what's going on 18 wheels? El Chupa Goats, love your... Oh, okay. So you've got the Mark II. Now, is that a bolt action or a semi-auto? Excuse my ignorance on... I don't know the rimfire world like well at all. That's not really something like I said, I just started looking at 22 mag the other day. Bobby, the 6.5 by 55 Swede was $18.94. Let's see, 18 wheels. Mr. Goats, how you doing? Ron, where's Meguiar Bullets from? Meguiar Ballistics, those guys are based in California. So Sam Meguiar, he's awesome dude. He's a professional guide. And he started sort of down the path of coming up with his own bullet back. This is before the lead ban went into place in California. The lead bullet hunting ban went into place. So yeah, just slowly over time, he developed the bullets, and his family owns a machine shop, and sort of the rest is history. They started producing them. What's going on, Jeff? Rocky Mountain Ballistics, we're trying the 160 LRX right now in the 7 rim mag. Nice. Oh, also the 160 CX. I've got a bunch of those. I've got a bunch of the pulled 160 CXs from AmericanReloading.com. So, okay, El Chupa Goats is a bolt action. Yeah, I would prefer a bolt action, so that's cool. I'll have to look at those. Sierra Game Kings are nasty. Yeah, especially the hollow point version. Those hollow points are pretty devastating on game. That's basically the only bullet that my brother hunts with in his 308. He hunts with some other stuff like in 6.5 Grendel and 6.5 Creedmoor, but in 308 he uses the 165 grain Sierra Game King, the hollow point version, and never had a problem with it. So really, really good bullets. I actually ordered. I didn't order. I bought these. Did I buy those at Cabela's? I can't remember now. No, I ordered them. They came in a midway order. I picked up a box of the 140 grain. I think they're 140, 7mm Game Kings, the hollow points. So whenever I circle back around after I do the solid copper testing, I'll circle back around and probably test more of the traditional cup and core bullets. So again, I plan on shooting out the barrel on this 280 Ackley. It just is what it is. I've got another 7mm blank sitting in the closet. It's a Remington Contour, so I actually need to. I don't need to, but I'm gonna pick up a Remington 700, just some sort of cheap action, some used Remington 700, something like 30-06 or whatever. Just find some beater 700 and then have heavy precision, swap it over and chamber it to 280 Ackley. El Chupagoat said, hey, so check out Miopta Optica 6 scopes. Yeah, those Mioptas, those are really nice. 18 wheels. Did Reloading Quest send you the shirt I want? Negative. You want a shirt? Nice. Oh, I got to get some coffee, by the way. It's been a long day. Coffee cup. There we go. No, I have not received a shirt. So yeah, it's got a lot of stuff moving and shaking right now in the reloading world. Oh, what kind of coffee do you like? Now that's something we can talk about. I like to drink, well, I like to drink the Green Mountain Dark Magic. Now, I went to the NWTF, the National Wild Turkey Federation Hunting Convention. Yo, there he is. Speak of the devil. What's up, Zach? Went to the NWTF convention up in Nashville, whatever it was, last month, and I don't have, well, I could do like ground coffee in that, whatever that Keurig style thingamajig over there is, but I'm kind of saving this stuff. So this is Backwoods Grind coffee. I'm saving this stuff for like when I go to family functions. Because anytime we go to a family function, like my grandma's house or something, she's got a coffee maker. My brother, they have the traditional drip style coffee makers, which I used to have one. Used to have a bun. Love that thing. Then my wife got me, the whatever K-cup style, which those are very convenient. Don't get me wrong. And I found the Green Mountain Dark Magic to be dynamite, or the Granite. If you get the Green Mountain Granite, those are awesome as well. That's the type, and I just drink black coffee, so that's why I don't put anything in it. 18 wheels. Oh, okay. Oh, well, hey, I appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. I'll have to pass that. I'll have to pass that along and pay it forward. So that's awesome. I appreciate that. You don't have to do that. Some folks saying what's up to Zach. Hey, Zach's the man, by the way. Dude, pumping out the content. I mean, like, social media extraordinaire for Hand Loader magazine, all that fun stuff. Published author, world traveler, right? Exotic animal killer. I mean, dude's all over the place. He's making it happen. So if y'all don't watch Reloading Quest, y'all are missing out. Huge shout out to you, buddy. See, he's in Wyoming right now. John Thomas, get a refillable K-cup. Yeah, no, I've got whatever it is. It's the little metal basket thing that comes with it, the adapter, where you can just put ground coffee in there and then put the little rubber thing over the top, and boom, you can do ground coffee. I just don't like cleaning that thing out. I gotta be honest with you, I'm that lazy when it comes to the coffee situation. So, oh, you're coyote hunting. Oh, dude, look what just came in. Yeah. Now I can join all the cool kids. Yeah, I had to wait, right? I had to wait to buy one. So not like the cool kids, but I ended up picking this up because Hootie who was actually on the live stream when I first kicked off, I couldn't believe it. He was the first one to comment on this live stream, which blew my mind. He said he had his notifications set to be alerted when I went live, which he must be really bored if he has his notifications set for when I go live. That dude must be bored. So, but he had posted like on his community tab, an email or a notification that he got from D&T Optics. Hey, we're about to have to up our price, right? We're about to have to introduce a price increase on all of our stuff. So if anyone wants to go buy one, now would be the time to do it. And so, yeah. So I ended up picking up the 5 to 20 version. Couldn't be happier. Now, of course, I had to buy it on one of the websites that allows like pay over time type deal, right? Because I ain't got several. I ain't got a handful of cash to dump on this thing right now. So I just did the little pay over time option, which was really nice. So I'll hopefully be doing some coyote hunting like you, Zach, pretty soon at night. That'd be awesome. That's the plan. Playing with 300. I know that 300 ROM, dude, that just, man, I see those videos and I'm like, holy cow, that's some horsepower. Got my Panola brand hoodie, Panola brand coffee cup, good stuff. But yeah, that 300 ROM is like legit. That's that's pretty awesome. I mean, that's just that is a monster case, and you're hitting what 4,000 feet per second. Like it's insane, absolute insanity, but really cool. That's what's neat about like being in the reloading space, right? Just reloading in general. That is it's just really neat because you can do stuff like that. So 6.5 Wisdom, you saw that somewhere. Yeah, I've seen that as well. I think there's like a 6.5 Psalm also that's out there floating around. I thought about going with a 270 Wisdom. So somebody had asked, yeah, 4,012 feet per second. It's just insane. Someone earlier had asked about a new project, and actually I have the project right here to my right, but I cannot show it because I'm live, and technically I can't show what's to my right while I'm live streaming. I think that's how that works, or it used to be that way. We're not going to take any chances. So, but it is a Remington 700. Picked it up earlier. Remington 700. It's older than me, from what I can tell. On the serial number lookup stuff that I can find, it's older than me, and it's an ADL. But it's back when like Remington had the really good bluing on their firearms. The bolt is jeweled. The stock feels really nice. So, but yeah, it's an ADL in what I would consider really really good shape. So pretty excited about that. And it's 270 Winchester. That's my favorite cartridge of all time. I just got to call it like I see it. It's my favorite of all time. So, Chris, what are the best stores for reloading supplies in the Huntsville area? So, first one, Mr. Big Guns. Go there. Mr. Big Guns is my number one recommendation for folks local to Huntsville, right? Now, if you're willing to travel a little bit, not too far, if you want to go down to Coleman, so Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville, that's a really good one, and obviously Cabela's, but man, they're just so overpriced. Like their bullets and their brass are on sale right now, actually, and they're starting to put some powder on sale, but that's because a lot of that crap's so overpriced it's collecting dust. It's been sitting on the shelf for months and no one's touched it because it's so overpriced. But the brass and the bullets at Cabela's are on sale right now, and there's some good deals in there. You can find some good deals on brass and bullets. If you're willing to travel, though, just a little bit, go down to Coleman, take exit 305 off Interstate 65, and go to Vans Sporting Goods, VAN apostrophe S Sporting Goods. That's no joke, probably the best reloading store, I would say, in North Alabama. I mean, it's bordering on probably the best reloading supply store like in the region. Like no kidding, it is an awesome place to go. They always have an amazing selection of powder, from all the different brands. Their bullet selection is insane, uh, as far as like reloading brands and different dies and all that fun stuff, equipment. They're the walking dog in my opinion. So Van Sporting Goods is really cool. You've also got Shooter's Warehouse in Coleman. It's a little bit different. Um, he's got a really good stockpile of powder, but I would go check out Vans. Plus, Vans is just like a normal sporting goods store. So you go in there, they got fishing stuff, they got hunting stuff, guns, scopes, knives, all that. It's kind of a one-stop shop. So really cool place. So those I recommend those. Mr. Big Guns for sure. Vans Sporting Goods. Of course, you can go to the big box stores, but those two stores are really good, reloading wise. Uh, okay, you can show it, but you can't touch it. Oh, well, see, I'm touching it, so that means I can't show it. So if I don't touch it, I guess I can show it. But it's your traditional Remington 700 ADL, right? It's got the iron sights, really good bluing on it. Again, jewel bolt. I just mounted a Weaver, an old Weaver. It's like a micro track or something like that. It's a 2 to 10, and it was made in Japan. So it's a Japanese manufactured Weaver, and it's actually a really really nice scope. It's 1 inch tube. It's got the gloss finish on it, so looks pretty cool. It looks like it fits the part, is what I'm trying to say with this. This is an older Remington 700. From what I can gather, it was either made in the mid to late 70s or like 81, somewhere in that range. So okay, Bobby said gonna try to make Van Sporting Goods, and yeah, so there's two of them. There's a Vans. It's the same people, but there's a Van Sporting Goods in Mississippi, and there's a Van Sporting Goods in Coleman, Alabama. So KM, I'm here to learn about men's hair care. I tell you what, exactly. You ain't learning jack about men's hair care on this channel. Shave your head. There's your hair care. You ain't got to worry about it. John Thomas, gotta go pick up my grandsons from after school. Oh, okay. Yep. Have a good one, John. Ron 6.5. Leopard is a 270 Wisdom, neck down to 6. Whoa. It used to hold the 1,000-yard 10-shot world record. Really? That's cool. KM, thanks for the tip on Cabela's sale. Have you looked through their... No, I have not, but their intensity line of stuff is, from what I understand, is actually really good. I have not looked at their intensity line reminds me a lot of Vortex, right? Like that's, so of course all that stuff's made in the same factory in China anyway, or if it's made in Japan, it's all made in the same factory in Japan. Just depends on the level of quality control and specs they attach to it. So, but yeah, so Cabela's sale. Yeah, when I went in, I was in there. What day was it? It was here recent. Might have been last week. I was in there, and all of their bullets were on sale. All of them. Burger, everything was on sale. Some on a better sale than others. Burgers were still expensive. Brass was on sale. I can't remember if the Starline was on sale, but their Starline brass was actually very reasonably priced. Like it's comparable to what you find it for online. So it wasn't overpriced at all. Their Hornady brass, massively overpriced. If anyone's willing to pay $1 a piece for Hornady brass, you're insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, that's unacceptable. But they were running sales on their Hornady brass, and they were running sales on some of their powder, mostly their 8-pound jugs, because they've overpriced them so much. But they're running sales on them. What's going on, Ben? Ron, the 270 Winchester is my favorite cartridge too, followed by the 280 Ackley and 30-06. So I'm actually thinking about, I know when I said earlier, getting like a cheap, or finding like a cheap used Remington 700 and 30-06 or 270 Winchester or whatever, and using that for another 280 Ackley project. I'm seriously considering just getting one of those and having Heavy Precision in Huntsville, Alabama, having them just chamber a straight 280. I've thought about doing that. Just a regular 280 Remington. I don't think we give 280 Remington enough credit. It's a really good cartridge. I know the Ackley, that's the hot sauce right now, and everyone's loving it, and I'm loving it. It's a great cartridge. It really is. It can do everything I need it to do or want it to do. So, see, Hootie, he was lurking, man. He's still there, blowing me away. The fact that he's hanging in there with us. Um, it's an honor. It is. You're awesome. Enjoy your videos. Your opinion on about the Sierra Game Changer, the green. So the tipped Game King, also known as the Sierra Game Changer. I don't I don't really know if I have an opinion of it just yet. I do have an opinion of Sierra bullets in general. They make really, really good bullets, and they have for a long time. Really good hunting bullets, really good match style bullets. So I haven't killed any animals with the Game Changer. So I don't really want to say that it's like super awesome, but it's coming from Sierra. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like I've used Sierra in the past. I know how well they work. I know how awesome they are. I can't imagine they would make a bad hunting bullet. I just can't, right? Um, kind of similar to I look at it like a spear impact, right? Those spear impacts are pretty awesome. My buddy, he's killed a couple of deer with a 6.5 Creedmoor load that I worked up the 140 grain spear impact, and it's a polymer tipped um, bullet as well, hunting bullet, and he's had great luck. Killed a couple of really nice bucks with it, and so I look at the Sierra Game Changer as a very similar style bullet. So okay, yeah, you bought your Weatherby, Hootie Hoo, you bought your Weatherby 30 model 307 and 280 Ackley. Good stuff. And it's awesome that companies are even making 280 Ackley rifles from the factory. That's awesome. We need a resurgence of just the 280 in general because it is overshadowed, right? It's just one of those cartridges. Remington kind of fumbled it, dropped the ball. They did the whole renaming thing like 3 or 4 different times. They called it 7 millimeter alt six at one time. It was, yeah, it just they've kind of fumbled the ball with the 280 Remington, 7 millimeter alt six, 7 millimeter Express, like doing all of that. They just really, yeah, they didn't do it any favors, and they didn't do it any favors by I think when they first released it, they kind of hamstrung it at like 60,000 psi. I think it was when the 270 Winchester is a 65,000 psi cartridge, if I'm remembering right. So there's a delta there in pressure. So it was, it's supposed to compete with the 270. You ain't competing, not with that loss of pressure, right? You're not going to be able to keep up. So plus the 270 Winchester had like what? How many years ahead of it? It was 270 Winchester came out in 1925. So Bobby said, I'm going to get the Lapua brass for the 6.5. Yep, that's what I would do. If Lapua makes your cartridge, if they make brass for what you want to load, just get that. KM, if I'm paying $1 for brass, it better come with free primer, powder, and bullet. That's funny. Ron, nice cartridge too, but you can't find any factory rifles chambered in it anymore. What cartridge are you talking? Are you talking about 280? Maybe, I don't know. I get behind on this, even though it's not like a Hootie Hoo live stream, right? I ain't got like 5,000 people on this thing, but I get behind. Okay, I read slow. Y'all cut me some slack. I'm from Alabama. KM, I enjoy Hootie Hoo as well. Half Mile Sniper, yeah, he makes some good stuff. Okay, Hootie Hoo shot a big buck with the Sierra Game Changer and 6 Creedmoor. Man, 6 Creedmoor is an awesome round. Uh, da, da, da. Yep, Hootie Hoo likes the 280 Ackley. It's a great cartridge, especially when you hand load for it, right? And I mean, that's just about any cartridge though. You can really wring out some awesome performance when you go to hand load. Ron, it was under pressured. Yeah, it was. Well, right? See, that's the thing though. You say it was under pressured for use in their semi-auto rifle, but their semi-auto rifle was chambered in 270 Winchester. So that can't be the case because 270 is a 65,000 psi cartridge. So you can't tell me Remington couldn't figure this one out, right? Like you offer your semi-auto in a cartridge that has a higher psi rating. Why would you? You know what I'm saying? Why? Like, man, they fumbled that one from the start. 280 is a great round. It really is. That's why I'm thinking about getting just getting a cheap Remington 700 and just having it rebarreled and just a straight 280. Got to make more 280 content, not 280 Ackley, but just some 280 content. Let's get that out there on the interwebs. Yeah, 6 Creedmoor is just awesome. It's the bean counters. Yeah, you better believe it. Sounds like Hodgson. KM, your 140 grain polymer tip 6.5. What's the lower end? Oh, now that I don't know. That I do not know. I know I looked it up at one time when I first started messing with those Spear Impact bullets. I don't know though, and I don't know on the Game Changer either. I would imagine since it's a traditional cup and core, obviously you're going to have better expansion at lower velocities, so than like a traditional or like a solid. So yeah, I mean, I would see I would definitely see somewhere from 16 to 1800. I think you would get at least some type of expansion with it being a traditional cup and core style bullet. CCI 200 primers, Lapua Brass, and Sierra Game King. Yeah, that's a good combination. Just don't even change it. Call around for the rebarrel price. I bought a barrel and it cost me $500 to have it ream mounted, threaded for muzzle. Okay. Yeah, I paid four. I paid four. I think it was right. I think it was right at four on that 280 Ackley. So that was to have it. That was to have the barrel, cut and chambered and all that. So I didn't have it. I chose not to have it threaded though because I don't really run. I don't run muzzle brakes. I don't have a suppressor. I just I don't know. I don't have any of that stuff, right? So for that one, for the first one, I was like, you know what, just chamber it 280 Ackley, get it spun up. Don't thread it or anything like that. Just leave it as is. So that's what I did. But yeah, it's definitely not cheap, right? It's not a cheap proposition when you start to go in on the on like the rebarrel job, and that's one of those things too where you know you look at it, maybe you don't want it to be too cheap, right? Like that's the I think that's the happy medium we're always trying to find, right? Is really good value where someone does a great job or a good job, right? Good enough job, and they charge you for it, but they don't charge you an arm and a leg for it. That's the part that kind of is hard. And when it comes to gunsmith work, you know, that was the first time I had ever had something like that done. Right, I had never had a gun rebarreled or anything like that, and I really trust those guys over there because I've known them a long time. They're a brand new they're brand new to the gunsmith side of the house and like the custom gun build thing, right? But I've known those guys for years now, and I really trust that they're going to do a good job. So they tell me a price. Okay, sounds good. Ron, those are illegal 10 states away. Fingers crossed. If it goes bye bye soon. We'll see. I don't know. Who knows at this point? Who really knows? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back into 270 Winchester. I was kind of I wasn't regretting rebarreling my Tika T3X to 280 Ackley because I really, really love shooting that cartridge. That's been so much fun to load for that and shoot that rifle and just see how well that thing is performing. Like it is, man, it's shooting so good with all sorts of different combinations of stuff. But man, that there's something about the 270. I just can't not have one, right? And especially with this year being the 100-year anniversary, I was like, I got to come up with a 270 Winchester. I can't not do videos on 270. That seems sacrilegious. So that's what I went with. Now, I will say I'll probably replace the trigger in this thing. Um, yeah, probably gonna swap it out. It's not great, so I'll probably end up swapping that out. Have you looked into swapping barrel? No. Well, I have. I say I haven't, but I have. Like I've looked into getting the short action customs. Was their barrel vise and like going that route? Well, I've looked into it from the standpoint of like just getting something like an outlier barrel or some of these pre-fit just sort of drop-in barrels. I've definitely looked at that. To your point, headspace gauge with Scotch tape. Like I know Gordy Gritters. I think he taught that to Gavin at Ultimate Reloader or whatever it was. Throw a piece of Scotch tape on a headspace gauge, good to go. Um, I've definitely looked into that and I've thought about going that route because now it's just like an AR basically nowadays. I mean, you could just go get a chassis, barrel, thread the thing on there, get some mags that are compatible, throw a scope on it, and whatever action you got, right? It's just it's so far and away better in my mind now than it was just a couple of few years ago, with the ability of sort of at home, I guess if you want to call it that, hobby gunsmiths. You can throw the gun together and then just go shoot half-inch groups, just killer, precision. I've seen people do it. That's why I'm saying it. The 270 is awesome. What bullets do you load? So in the 270, I have tested quite a bit of stuff. So actually, sit tight. Stand by. So this is the buck I killed this year on public land here in Alabama over in Bankhead National Forest. So if you know or have ever heard of Bankhead, so awesome stuff. My brother put me on this deer. He was like, hey, here's the spot where you need to go sit and hopefully something will come through. Guess what? Came through. And I killed that with my 270. I shot that with my Tika T3X because it was still chambered in 270 Winchester before I did the rebarrel job. And the bullet that I used to kill that buck was the McGuire Ballistics 128 grain copper rose. Their non-hollow point hunting bullet, okay? It looks just like a full metal jacket, by the way. So it'll kind of freak some people out when you show them, hey, this is the hunting bullet. It's a non-hollow point, literally just, it looks like an FMJ, but it absolutely devastated that buck. He went maybe 40 yards piled up. Exit hole was massive. It did a ton of damage. Shot was about, I can't remember now. I'm gonna tell you wrong. I don't know. I posted a video about it. You guys go back and watch it. And I think I have a more accurate recollection of shot distance in that video. But no, that was kind of the bullet that I settled on toward the tail end, knowing that I was going to rebarrel it. I really wanted to kill an animal with that non-hollow point hunting bullet. And it did awesome. And I've had a ton of luck with the Barnes 129 grain LRX. So in 270 Winchester, I've just, in general, I've had a lot of luck with solid copper. The Barnes 129, I think it's the 129 LRX. Their 130 TSX, their 130 tip TSX. Those have shot really, really well using, I think it's Ramshot Hunter powder. I'd have to go back. I've got a bunch of videos on 270 as well, and I'm pretty sure I think it's Ramshot Hunter powder. and Superformance. I've had good luck in 270 with Superformance. That's one of those combinations that for me, solid copper in 270 plus Superformance equals good stuff, right? And that's been in a few different 270 Winchesters. So Optics Planet, Timney, Tika trigger, ooh, 250. Ugh, no thanks. I'm talking about I might get like a Timney impact trigger, like I think $100 trigger for this guy. So that'll be what I do for this Remington 700 over here. Ben, your 22 Creedmoor. Yes, it is. So that was why I was really looking into doing the barrel stuff, like the pre-fit stuff myself. Just getting the short action customs barrel vise because my 22 Creedmoor is a pre-fit for a Remington 700 uh, footprint action, right? And I've got a short action right now that is just a 243 Winchester sitting in the closet. So that was the reason why I actually started, excuse me, looking into doing that stuff myself. So, oh, you gotta get back to work. Well, man, have a good one, El Chupa Goats. Again, keep up the great work on the content. Really enjoy watching his stuff. KM, big score on. Oh, I know. You have no idea. You have no like. I don't know if people like think I'm lying when I tell them that I get so excited when I see a doe and when I shoot a doe. Like people, I don't know if it just doesn't register. I don't know, but like I get so excited. Can you imagine how excited I got when I'm sitting there and I just again go back and watch the video. I think I did like a rattling sequence. I'm trying to remember now. I did some calling, okay? And then it was like within minutes. This dude, straight out in front of me, kind of quartering towards me, comes walking down a trail, and I catch movement because I was sitting at the base of a tree in my Millennium tree seat. Love the tree seat, by the way. That thing's so comfortable. But I was just sitting there, had my Tika like across my lap, and I'm sitting there watching, and all of a sudden I catch movement, and oh, it's a deer leg, and so I'm sitting there looking, and so I pulled my gun up to look through the scope, and I was like, oh, he's got antlers. He could have been a cow horn spike. All I knew was it had antlers, an antler, right? And I was like, okay, I think based on the angle that he's walking, because it was literally just a few seconds. This whole scene played out in a few seconds. And he took just a couple of steps. I kind of had my gun already set up to where I thought he was going to kind of the angle he was walking at and stuff. I was like, oh, he's going to go right there. That's my lane. And he took a step and actually stopped and kind of looked my direction. He was quartering to me. I just put it right on that front shoulder and just hammered him. I mean, didn't even think twice. I was like, all I know is I saw something on his head, pulled the trigger, game over. And when I walked up to him and realized how nice he was, like I was freaking out. I promise you, it was man. That's one of those where I kind of wish I had like a GoPro or something just to record the initial reaction. You guys would have loved that. Like y'all would have loved it. What's up, Jay Atkins? Good evening, KM. What are the odds your Barnes and that non-hollow point Buck Slayer came in a premium mix? Oh, they didn't. Now the odds are good that the Barnes did, but that non-hollow point version, I ordered those from McGuire. You're not going to find McGuire ballistics at American Reloading. I can assure you. Chris, do you have a favorite bullet powder combination for 243? So somebody, I cannot remember who, it might be Jeff. Someone, they're a long time subscriber. Like anytime I do live streams or anything like that or make videos about 243, they would always recommend, I think it's Hybrid 100V, Hodgdon Hybrid 100V powder. And that's the powder I used in this last round of load development in 243. And I used I think it was the Sierra 100 grain Game King, maybe. Um, it was either the Sierra. Tanya, I just saw your message flash across, and yes, it. I agree. It it doesn't seem real, and it still doesn't seem real. I think about Jeff all the time. He's, yeah, he was a wonderful friend. So yeah, definitely doesn't seem real. Um, I had a good friend pass away. Yeah, last year, just really sad, really really sad. So, uh, but Chris, it was hybrid 100V is the powder, and it's a 100 grain bullet. And I think it was the Sierra, or it could be the Barnes. No, not Barnes. Spear. I think it was the Sierra, and that combination shot lights out. I think I tested. It was like eight. I'd have to go back and look. It was like 8 different bullet sort of charge weight, bullet powder charge weight combinations there with that between that powder and bullet. It's like 8 different charge weights or something. And I'd never shot over an inch with any of them. They all shot under an inch. So 18 wheels later, I have to catch up. Okay. Hey, I just appreciate you joining in, man. Appreciate all the support too. You're all the time commenting on videos, so I really appreciate it. KM, I got a Hero 7 off Facebook for $75 3 years ago. That marketplace is gold mine. It is. It definitely is. It can be a little weird though too. Like you know how it is, like kind of like Craigslist, right? I mean, just you get people that just want to kick the tires and they aren't serious, and you deal with that kind of stuff too. But yeah, you can find some really good deals on Facebook Marketplace. So you guys need to go check that out. Make sure y'all are tuning into that and sort of, buying stuff used. I mean, you got to buy brand new all the time. You just go get used stuff and it works great as long as somebody took care of it. But you also got to be careful. That's one of those places where, if somebody puts a scope on there or something, I'm like, nah, I don't know, especially like a Leupold, because apparently there's a lot of fakes floating around in the world, like fake Leopolds. I didn't really know that was a thing, but apparently it is. So you just got to be careful. But yeah, that man, when I shot that buck, yeah, it was, I about lost my mind. And it was cool too, because like I was with my brother, right? He had he had said, hey, and it was an area that we had actually hunted in years past. He was like, all right, I'm gonna drop a pin in Onyx. This is where you need to go, sort of in this area, and then just find a tree and sit down. So that's what I did. He said, I'm gonna be over here on the other side of this ridge, so maybe we can kind of catch them if a buck is slipping through, doing some scent checking and stuff, because it was kind of starting to get into that point of like, hey, they could be full blown rut right now. You know what I'm saying? And so he could be coming through scent checking for does. And I'm not saying that's what he was doing, but he was coming down that trail, had that head down. He made a mistake. KM responded to a Facebook ad, went to a rural farm, followed the guy down to his basement when I thought, no one knows I came here. Yeah, no kidding. Hey, I did the same thing one time. I bought a couple things off a guy in Birmingham, which is about, I think where he was at in Birmingham might have been like an hour and a half drive from my house or whatever at that time. Yeah, nobody knew I was there. And the guy was like, yeah, come on down. I got everything down in the basement. I was like, okay. Just followed him down and, bought the stuff. And I was like, same deal. I sort of, same thing. After I left, I was like, that probably wasn't smart. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it. I'm 6 foot, almost 6'1", 230 pounds. So like, I'm not a small guy, but still, like that probably wasn't smart. Just some random dude. What's going on, Cornbread? You just got off a live with Unknown Prophet, or you would have been here from start. Oh, you're good. You're good, man. The best part of hunting is the stories, and man, no kidding. Like, and to just to do, be out there with my brother or whatever, because we don't get to hunt a ton together, right? So it's those times where we're able to line up our schedules and we're able to just make it happen and actually go hunt together, not sitting next to one another, but like just the process of going and spending time with my brother, right? And being in the woods, like, dude, you can't, and that's the thing. So killed this 6 point on public land with my brother. And then a few years ago, I actually killed, it's a smaller buck, but it's an 8 point, a smaller 8 point. Same deal. My brother put me in a spot. He was like, hey, this is where you need to be. And I had an 8 point come through and dropped him. It was about an 85, 90-yard shot with my 6.5 Creedmoor. And he piled up. It was the 140 grain Spear Gold Dot hunting load that I'd worked up in that gun. So awesome stuff. Yeah, the memories they're just so cool. Dan, what single stage press would you suggest for a beginner? You want to load 308, 243. Okay, if you want to load some 45 ACP, it depends on how much you want to load, by the way, because I cannot stand loading pistol on a single stage press. I actually started off that way. I had a Lee single stage press, which if you go to Amazon, you can search the Lee. It's like Lee reloading kits or something, and there's a kit on there now for like 170 bucks, and that's the exact same kit that I started with, and that gets you basically 95% of the way there. So if you don't want to sink a ton of money into it, and you just want to have the stuff to be able to reload, that probably wouldn't be a bad place to start, just to see if you even like it, because the last thing you really want to do is kind of go spend hundreds of dollars on kind of some nicer equipment. Like, yeah, I could definitely recommend you. What I would recommend is the stuff I use right now: a Mech Marksman single stage press, and then get a Lyman Case Prep Express for your brass prep. Then get a Frankfurt Arsenal rotary tumbler to wet tumble your brass. Like those things, I would recommend all that stuff. Like you could do a Forester trimmer, case trimmer, right? So stuff like that. But now you're talking about you're kind of, you got to really know that you want to do this, because you're starting to pump in not an insignificant amount of money at that point, right? So I would highly recommend like something like that Lee kit. That would go a long way in letting you know, hey, I either like this or I don't. This is something I could see myself doing, or at least I have the capability to do it. So if we ever run into an issue in the future, like we did with the whole COVID thing, and you couldn't find anything whatsoever, you can make your own, right? You had the ability to. So that's one of those kits where if you buy it, you didn't spend so much money that you feel bad if it just collects dust in your closet, right? Like if you go and invest a good chunk of money and you never touch the stuff, it might be one of those things where you're like, I just need to sell all that because I never used it. Well, now you're missing out kind of on the point of it too, where if you ever need it, you got it and you can do it. So I would kind of go that route. I've actually made that recommendation a few times here recently with that Lee kit. I think that would be a great place to start. The issue with loading pistol stuff is it's just so time consuming on a single stage press. I loaded like 50 or 100 rounds of 9mm on a single stage press, went out to the range, ran through all that in my Glock 17 in like minutes. And I was like, okay, not doing that again, because it takes so long to load that much pistol ammo on a single stage press. If you get into reloading and you're like, man, I really like this, then you can look at, again, a cheaper route would be like a Lee. Lee has a progressive kit, like a progressive press kit that you could load like 45 ACP, 9mm. For the rifle stuff like 223, stuff like that. That's dedicated for those cartridges. I would highly recommend you go that route. If you're serious about reloading pistol stuff, maybe you shoot a lot of pistol. I don't. That would be a progressive. Even though you might be new to reloading, I'm telling you, if you try to load pistol on a single stage, you're, I don't know, you're not going to have a good time, in my opinion. But I'll also tell you what not to buy. What not to buy is all this freaking new age, space age, hundreds of dollars for a die set, thousands of dollars for a press, $1,000 for an annealer, powder measure. Don't go buy all that garbage that everybody on YouTube tells you got to have to make the best ammo possible. Don't do it. Don't even fool with it. Some of the best groups I've ever shot was with the ammo that I made off that Lee kit. So you can make quality ammo with the budget stuff too. Don't get roped into the latest and greatest who said what on YouTube or what company put out this video about that topic, blah, blah, blah. The whole point, the way I look at it, because I'm a pretty regular guy, the way I look at it is it allows me to go shoot way more than I would be able to if I had to go buy factory ammunition. And that's the point. I just love to go to the range and shoot, right? I love to try to sort of test the performance of a rifle, right? Like this Remington 700 that you guys can't see to my right here. I just like to load a bunch of different bullet and powder combinations and just see how it does. That, to me, that's a lot of fun. You know, if I obsess over every, you know, thousandths of an inch and group size and all that, you know, and what it takes to shrink your groups, and you focus on that, because I've gone down those rabbit holes. And at the end of the day, I circle back to, let me make my reloading process as simple and as streamlined as possible, something that is repeatable, something that I actually enjoy doing, because that's a big piece of it. Because you can spend a ton of time at the reloading bench and not enjoy it, right? And so for me, I went down some of those rabbit holes, and I just kept circling back to, like, I don't care about any of that. Like, I just like to throw a bunch of different combinations at stuff and then go shoot. And it's fun. And I like to work up good hunting loads. So you just got to be careful, like when you're trying to sort of get into this hobby space, just be mindful of that. If you're getting into it because you enjoy going to the range and shooting, stick with that, right? And sort of make sure you keep your expectations in check. That's, unless you got a ton of money to throw at stuff, and then in that case, by all means, go get you a Dillon and rock and roll. John Thomas, and if you put a brace on a pistol, it shoots a bigger bullet faster. Road Tide. 18 wheels. Just got back from a week down near you hog hunting at night. Oh, that's awesome, man. Whoops. That's what that's going to be for. Yeah, buddy. We got us a Zulus now. So, part of the cool kid club. I can finally say that. With shots that close, that 6.5 must be a late. Nah. I mean, it was only, I wasn't running it hot. That 140, it was only going 20, just under 2,700. I think it was like 26. It was in the high 26s. So, you know, it was like 2685, 2690, something along those lines. So it wasn't fast. But 140 grain bullet, yeah, it just, especially the Spear Gold Dot, as good of a bullet as that is, it's going to get the job done. So, Cornbread said amen to that. Dan said 10-4. KM, once you see videos of, the Afghanis making ammo barehanded without powder measure. Yeah, no, that's funny. Yep, 18 wheels, that's a true story. Unless you're trying to shoot bench rest or F-class, you don't need, yeah, no, that's true, especially from the start. If that's something, like if you eventually want to compete, then I highly recommend you not watch my channel and go watch channels that will be beneficial to you as a competitor, because this channel will not be. Yeah, if you're, most interested in rifle rounds, then yeah, something like that Lee kit would be great. Like the equipment I rattled off that I use, that Mech Marksman press is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of Redding as well. So Redding Big Boss 2, that's a great single stage press. You could get a turret press if you wanted to, so you could have multiple dies set up all at once. You wouldn't have to keep changing dies out if you want to go that route, but you start spending a little bit more money doing that. Um, yeah, I mean, the equipment I listed as far as my reloading bench and what I use, I mean, I use it for a reason, right? Like I trust that equipment. I've had really good luck with it. I recommend it all the time. Like I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't use it. I don't have just a ton of equipment sitting around like, oh, let me change out my press. I'm going to use a RCBS Rebel press today, or I'm going to use a Lyman Victory Smith press today, or what. Like I have one press. So I've got one press, I've got one case prep center, I've got one wet tumbler. That's what I got, right? So that's the stuff I use day in and day out. Keep it simple and have fun. That's the name of the game. It really is. I mean, if it gets you into, you know, I enjoy people coming into the reloading space. We need more people in the reloading hobby, in my opinion. And so come dive in, load up